Hello, everyone. It is Monday, May 17th, and you are listening to Behind the Screen Door, Screen.com's podcast about movies, TV, and all sorts of other dumb junk. Everyone say hello.
Hey let's
guys.
talk about my dumb junk.
I don't.
Come on.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that.
Don't ever say the word junk again.
I left that one wide open.
Getting things started classily.
Yeah,
Nice.
always. Matthew Rory, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I wish I was less tired, but I'm not
You look
as bad as I could be.
You look better. Like, you don't look terrible, but you've looked better.
I grow on people as I go.
All right. Mr. Lopez, how you doing?
Feeling so much better. I've been sick all weekend, and today I'm like 90%.
90%.
Yeah.
I need you at about 120%.
One cannot give more than 100%.
I've seen it on like boxes for Japanese things. They go all sorts of percents. I would like you to try.
They're using Far East mathematics, though.
All right.
They're like 3,000 years ahead of us, dude.
Pretty much.
And that's where I want us to be. I want us to be 3,000 years ahead of where we are right now.
Speaking of 3,000-year-olds, though, we have a special surprise guest this week. So
From the future.
Over 9,000.
that was my segue.
I've been to the future, so I figured I better get on this podcast now.
Vinny Caravella, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Are we all gonna die or something?
I can't mess up the future. I can only just say, let's just do this podcast quickly.
Let's do this quickly.
What time is it? 11:45. I better get going.
Wearing your blur headphones. Over
What
there.
headphones? No, these are, this podcast is not sponsored. They just happen to be on my desk.
I understand.
How are you? Let's talk about movies.
I would like to talk
and
about movies.
Filmed
entertainment. So, yeah, what did everyone see this weekend? Rory, what are
I saw Robin Hood.
you did see Robin Hood. That was
came
the
out on Friday.
that was the big movie this weekend.
Yeah,
with
the big movie.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner, Mary
Carrie
Louise,
Elways.
Master Antonio,
Robin Hood 2.
Errol Flynn had a little.
Why
cameo
a
as dead
spoon?
man.
Because it hurts more.
So, how was Robin Hood, Mr. Rory?
It was okay. It was not great, not terrible.
So
Yeah.
is it like Gladiator, just with like tights?
Like in the woods?
It's really weird because it starts off in the
Welcome to my childhood.
It starts off almost in the exact same way. Like it has a king dying in battle, and one of his subjects has to run away. That whole kind of weird Gladiator throwback. But then it just gets really weird. It was well intentionally made. If that's a word. But
Who's Little
Sure is.
John?
Little John? That is the creepy guy from Lost. The guy who gets shot.
Oh, that's right. The Mert guy.
I was about to.
a lot of
Yeah, the
creepy guys in
mercenary
Lost.
who does the thing.
Oh, I like that guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of creepy looking though. Like I want to talk, but he's
Kind of crazy eyed.
It's really weird. There are a lot of actors. Like there's the funny guy from Saving Private Ryan, and that guy from Lost, and then like there's
That's what they're credited as.
the people. Yeah, it's got like Joe DeMito from Kick-Ass, and
So I think there are 4 Robin Hoods now that I can call out. There's the Errol Flynn, right?
yeah,
There's the Disney Robin Hood, right?
Sure.
the first one, yeah.
There's the Kevin Costner one, and now there's this one. Am I missing one?
Men in
Carrie
Tights.
Elways.
Okay,
Men in Tights is,
sure.
in my mind, frankly, one of the best Robin Hood
So
movies.
is that your
Absolutely.
best Robin Hood so far?
It's up there.
Okay.
It's way up
Actually,
there.
Ridley Scott said it was a series too because he thought Carrie Ellis was just like really funny.
A really
Well, he's
good Robin
perfect.
Hood, yeah.
I mean, he's just perfect for that sort of dandyish kind of hero role.
There was like a Robin Hood TV show earlier this decade.
Sure,
like,
from the BBC.
I do remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of adaptations. Obviously, I'm sure there's more that we're not thinking of from like the.
Mr. Lopez, did you have a definitive Robin Hood for you?
It's always
Disney
been
one,
It's
right?
always been the Disney one for me.
too.
Honestly,
No, that is the one.
just defines it for me.
I mean, now the thing with this movie is that it was originally supposed to be something very, very different.
It's gone through a lot of weirdo stuff. Like it's supposed to be told from the perspective of the sheriff of Nottingham originally. Then it was supposed
Well,
to
that's
be
interesting. I would've-
Yeah. And then at some point, it had morphed into like this thing where it was going to be Russell Crowe playing both Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Really?
Like maybe it was like a
Like
split
psychotic?
personality kind
That
of
is
thing.
awesome.
But then at some point, I think someone at a studio just kind of looked at that and went, yeah, you know what? You should just make a Robin Hood movie.
Well, it's really hard to shoot yourself with a bow, I think.
Yeah.
Not a lot of bow suicide.
It's just getting into some like Fight Club territory that I don't think anyone was really prepared for with that mythos. So
Yeah,
now
it's kind of defaulted to the prequel, and it's really kind of It's not. It's. I was thinking about after I wrote the review, and it's really not. It's really not a Robin Hood movie. It's kind of coasting on that name, but there's really not the same characters there, but it's not.
Doesn't seem like canon, like Robin Hood.
I don't care about canon, but it's just like there's all this stuff about the King of England and the French invasion. It just kind of became like this.
There's like the Magna Carta, is a big part of the plot for some reason.
Don't bring your politics into my Robin Hood.
Yeah,
it's like National Treasure Robin Hood edition or something like that. It's so weird. It was a weird movie, but it was entertaining enough to watch. So
I'm always fascinated by the way different people will mine that myth, because a couple years ago I was in Nottingham and I went to Nottingham Castle, like just to do the tour and whatever, because I was there for an extra day, and the way they teach Robin Hood as history, like they are very upfront about, like, we don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Right.
We don't know if he exists, but he has made us so much money. We are going to turn this entire tour into a thing about Robin Hood.
Well, it's like King Arthur too. I mean, King Arthur is the same way, where it's just kind of a legend that might be based in some kind of factual thing, but nobody really knows. So, I'd be curious to go to Nottingham. Is it just like one big Robin Hood theme park or something like that?
No, it's a college town. That's the real bummer about Nottingham, is that it's actually just kind of a bummer of a college town. But like they have this castle there, and you can do the tour. And the guy who is the tour guide is hilarious because he celebrates the violence of early English history with so much verve. And, I'm sorry, British tour guides are the best tour guides because they are so excited to tell you about beheadings when there are like 6-year-olds in your tour group.
He's all morose, like, I can't do that anymore, God damn it. But back in the day, we knew how to treat criminals.
Sometimes the head stays alive for like 30 seconds.
Do people at least run around with bows and arrows there? I mean,
No. When I was there was a zombie flash mob, but there was no one dressed as Robin Hood. So it's kind of a... Yeah, I don't know. That town kind of bummed me out a little bit. But, hey, England, it's fun.
But
so Robin Hood...
Check out the review on our site. It's okay.
It's a 3-star movie.
Nothing crazy.
According to Matthew Rory.
Okay. Could have been better. I think maybe the director's cut to be better than the movie was, because that's what happened with Kingdom of Heaven.
I like Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah.
I love Kingdom of Heaven. That's like... Ridley Scott, there are times when I just love what he does in the modern era, and there are times when I'm completely bored by it.
Yeah.
And this seems like one I would probably be completely bored by.
People get shot by arrows, but it's all PG-13, so it's very.
And that's why I think I would be bored by it. Cause
there is one cool one where a guy gets an arrow through the throat, and that's really cool. But
how many times do they do the camera on the back of the follow?
Pretty well. That's the Robin. That's a Kevin Costner shot.
Yeah.
I don't know that they ever actually do that.
What new Arrow cinematography do they introduce?
I think they do it once, but no, for the most part, it's just like the kind of the I'm going to pull back my arrow, and then it cuts to a guy getting hit or with an arrow already implanted.
Sure, yeah.
Because I don't know if you ever. This is a kind of a tangent, but I'm a big fan of Kurosawa, and everybody knows the end of Throne of Blood, where he's getting like 1,000,000 arrows shot at him, right?
I do now. Thanks.
But in Seven Samurai, what they did for people like civilians getting hit by arrows, they had these people run around with wooden blocks under their skin and had
dudes shooting them? No way, really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
This is what you could
Can't do that
50s,
now, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. Like, holy mackerel.
Employee safety laws were not maybe perhaps what they should have been
wooden
back
blocks.
then.
Yeah, well, you'd think that you could probably get away with it now, just like wear like a Kevlar suit or something, and
I guess.
get hit. But
if you're a professional stuntman and you're licensed and like you know what you're getting yourself into, that's one thing. But if you're just like an extra running around and you're getting shot,
that is a bond of trust between you and the marksman.
Or just pay your CG guy a little bit more and be like, here, draw this stick in a guy, please.
Yeah,
I'm sure I think there's some of that too in Robin Hood. I don't. In the end, like PG-13 bows and arrows are not going to be.
They're not ideal.
While we're on tangents, one of the greatest things I ever heard, one of the most disturbing things I ever heard about bows was I once heard that longbowmen had a very dangerous could take their kneecaps off by pulling. Could you pull the bow back?
Oh
and then
my!
When it snaps forward, the ends of the bow could bow back. Because they curl around for extra power. They're like a C at the top, and then you pull it back. and so it's pointy like that. And then when they release it, they go whoop, and they snap back into a C, and you take your kneecap off.
Brother, what you're selling, I'm not liking.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
liking
that's
that
the
one
Robin
bit.
Hood I want.
Well, speaking of Robin Hood,
Yeah,
he was
let's keep
also
going.
in another movie that we saw this weekend. He was in OSS 117.
Oh, that's right. In
What a
Lost in
segue.
Rio.
Yes,
Really?
he was. You remember?
Oh, yeah. Oh, dressed as Robin Hood.
Dressed as
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Right, right.
Yeah, so we, myself, Mr. Matthew Rory, Mr. Vinny Caravella, we took a little
Yes.
field trip with some family and friends, and we went to a little art house theater in San Francisco to go see OSS 117, Lost in Rio.
The second, right?
Is the second film in
yeah.
which I'm sure they're adapting all 256 books, so eventually we'll get all
By
of them.
next year.
Yeah. But, yeah, so this is the second movie. Rory, you wrote up a nice little piece on the site for our Instant Q feature about the first one.
Yeah, I did. And Cairo Nest of Spies was the first one, and it was based in Cairo. It was more of a 50s spoof. Kind of low key. Wasn't apparently it was a big hit in France, and it's on Netflix streaming. So I encourage everybody to check it out. Really, really, really funny movie. I liked it a lot, and I can tell Vinny's looking at me funny because he wants to do a line or something.
No.
Not do a line like cocaine, but do a line for the movie. Hopefully.
We did a
Too late
podcast,
for that, brother.
and then we did a line, and then we wrote a news story, and then we did a line.
Like I said, I gotta get out of here soon.
Yeah.
It's all gonna go bad. No, very funny. Very funny
Really,
movie.
really funny. And so Lost in Rio is a sequel made a couple years later, set in Rio. This time it transposes it to like 1968. So it kind of overlaps a little bit too much with Austin Powers for American audiences. It can be kind of a comparison, but it's still, and it's also way more racial jokes this time around.
Like casually racist.
Casually racist. Like,
I don't know. There's some pretty
it's funny.
hardcore racism
Well,
going
when I
on.
say casually racist, I mean like it is treated with a sort of Jews.
Right.
I mean it's like it's very like
Well, right, it's
it's
racism
supposed to be accepted
through
within-
ignorance,
in
right.
his universe. Yeah, like
well,
this,
in his head, like
Yeah.
he's so the story revolves around this super spy, French super spy, who's like their top ultra agent, whatever you
Kind
want
of
to call
gets smartish.
Kind of gets smart,
Yeah.
little Inspector Clouseau kind of thing. He's very clueless, very arrogant,
Very handsome.
very, very handsome. So he's used to kind of walking into a room and being the center of attention and everything. And he's
But also, right, well respected. He's not
Yeah.
like the kind of like Clouseau bumbling kind of fool.
but he's well
more
respected.
socially bumbling.
Yeah.
But then when people meet him, I don't think they know why he's supposed to be respected.
No.
Yeah.
But there's also like that CIA agent, Bill Tremendous is a no, Name.
Yeah, Bill Tremendous is one of my favorite character names of all
He
time.
just swears constantly.
Awful French. And no, it's really, really funny. There are Nazi luchadors. I know the wrestling scene really got to me too. The fight scene.
It's so wrestling. Like they're giving each other suplexes
Yeah.
and running off the ropes, even though they're in an office and
Yeah.
there's no ropes at all.
And there was one point where the luchador did that.
Luchador.
Stomp hit him. Luchador just did the thing where they smack their foot
Yeah.
on the ground
Yeah.
and make the sound, and then
they
hit him.
slap their chest
Nice.
while they're stomping. Yeah, like it's an absolutely perfect fight scene. And
Amazingly goofy movie. The distributor's going like week by week around the country, so it's not going to be available for everybody to see right
it'll
now.
be on Netflix in like a month or two anyway.
We'll see. Hopefully it will be. But the first one is still on Netflix. It's amazingly good time.
I think the first one was a little more
Yeah.
clever.
No, I definitely agree
Yeah.
with you there. This one is just kind of like a lot of Jew jokes, a lot of
The Asian jokes,
The Asian jokes,
were what
yeah.
really
Yeah.
kind of blew me away because I mean, there's a running gag in the movie where like there's this early gunfight,
Yeah.
where he's basically like the whole opening sequence is just him dancing with these like pretty Chinese ladies
Right, at a ski lodge.
at a ski lodge. And there's a massive shootout. Basically, everyone dies except him. And then,
And he shoots most of those
And he
girls
shoots
in the
most of the
back.
people, yeah.
You're seeing them like fall down away
Yeah.
from him, so he's just like nailing them in the back. And at the end of it, there's one girl left, and he's like, "Thank God, that almost got bloody."
Yeah.
And there's like a pile of corpses all around.
But the running gag is that like different members of the Chinese gang family that started the whole thing
Yeah.
keep showing up to try and kill him. And it's just like there's a Chinaman behind you, and then like there actually is a Chinaman behind you, like shooting him, and then there's just this one throwaway line that no one else in the theater laughed at besides me when he was talking to his boss
Yeah.
and describing his time at the ski resort. He was like, yeah, no, good time, very fun, a lot of great slopes. And almost fell out of my chair laughing, and no one else in the theater seemed to pick up on it. Like, and I was like, oh, wait, maybe.
There's a lot of really well-translated racial epithets. Because you can't imagine our racial epithets are different than the French ones. So whoever translated that did a really good job about it.
There's a lot of wordplay in the subtitles that like you wouldn't necessarily expect from something like that.
The one thing that did annoy me was the subtitles are really hard to read. They were very thin white.
With no black or outlining around.
Oh, I hate it when they do that.
Yeah. So against like a white background, you're just kind of.
It's a little
tough.
tough.
Bright.
It's very bright colored. Yeah.
Really well made though. Like they took the '60s filmmaking tropes and just kind of knocked it out of the park.
The editing was so great. Like
they did that whole kind of like montage within one big
like
screen.
a collage of just like different shots.
Yeah. All for the same thing happening in real time.
Or sometimes just like a million of the same shot, like a girl walking, it, like
just her legs,
and it tessellates out to like 1,000. That was so fantastic.
Who was the hot chick in this one? Like, from
a Mossad agent.
Yeah, she's like she's an Israeli agent. I can't remember the name of the actress offhand. It was like, but her character's like Natasha something or other.
Korolov.
Yeah.
Not quite as the women in the first movie were like the actual female,
like the lead
protagonist.
The lead female in the first movie is shockingly good looking.
She's ridiculously hot.
Wife of the director of these movies. But then in this one, I guess they were a little plain. She was fine enough, good actress. But then the other femme fatale, the Nazi with the huge rack.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was with the comically huge
Carlotta.
rack. Yeah. It turned out to be Frau something or other.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of spoiling the movie, but it sort of doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not a movie to go for plot. It's
not at all.
Gags,
gags. This is a pure gag. But yeah, it was a good time.
Well recommended if it comes to your part of the neck of the woods.
Indeed. And then afterward, you and I, we had a little excursion. We went to a happy lounge, which I just want to talk about for a second. No, sadly it didn't. So you and me went there with a friend of yours, and I just want to talk about this bar for a second because it was positively Lynchian in atmosphere. This place, it's just like walking into something in Twin Peaks.
Not a single girl in the entire place besides the bartender.
Well, no, there was one woman there, but she was like 45 and clearly like just wasted out of her mind.
Yeah.
The bartender is this like super peppy Korean woman named Patty. Who is very happy to see you no matter who you are or whether you've ever been there.
Great. Like, it's not a bad place at all. It's Happy Lounge on Geary and 2nd. If anybody's in San Francisco, you want to go check it out.
There's this back room,
yeah,
which we went to, which it doesn't seem like it should be there.
It looks like it might have been a recording studio or something at some point, or like a karaoke.
It's area. Like it looks like a karaoke room, but it's pushed off in such a way, and it's the only one that you get the distinct impression that something illicit was going on there at some point. But yeah, it's like the play, like all the benches are padded with bath mats.
Yeah,
and there's one stapled to the wall for no reason, and then there's like a little window that like is like right next to the door, which is just open anyway. But then like at some point you'll see people walk by, then look in the window at you, and then just keep walking to the bathroom. You're like, oh, this is unsettling. I do not like this at all.
It's a really weird place, but we've had some good times there. Me and my friend Justin, so we'll probably keep going back. It's not that hip happening spot by any means, but it's fun.
And it was sort of perfect when like we were just sitting there dead silence, and then all of a sudden Dr. Dre comes on twice. It's the same Dr. Dre song plays twice in a row, and it's like, okay, I'm done with this place.
Is there a jukebox?
There is, okay, but I think someone kept playing the same song over and over again. So, God, Happy Lounge. Lopez, did you see anything this weekend?
I saw the rim of my toilet a lot.
That's okay. Like, I don't know. I like the second
Is that
one
the
better.
Bergman version, or is that the
extended
Gary,
cut,
the
wide
Cronenberg.
screen?
Yeah,
Kind of gross.
Yeah, no, is that the Gary Marshall version? I don't remember.
So not feeling well?
Yeah, so you had a bad weekend.
I did. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had.
Well, don't apologize for being sick. I mean, you're an intern, but you don't have to apologize for everything.
It wasn't the rim of my toilet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you think that when you're sick, you're going to watch a lot of movies, but the fact of the matter is, I barely had the strength to get up and like click a mouse or anything like that. I just the world was dim, and
it's more Price is Right kind of sick.
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah, you want to turn on the TV.
Classic concentration.
Yeah. You want to just turn on the TV and let that make the decisions, the watching decisions for you.
Let's talk about classic concentration for a second, if we might.
Sure,
Let's talk about
anytime.
Price is Right. I miss morning game shows real quick.
God.
I spent a lot of time, a lot of summers watching a lot
Absolutely.
of morning game show reruns.
Price is Right.
Same,
I grew up. That was my parents, man. Price is Right. Mom
But
and
it
Dad
was
together.
on in the late
10
enough in
o'clock.
the morning so
Yeah.
that you knew you were staying home from school.
Totally.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys see the video of the guy who won everything recently?
Oh, yeah,
sort of
yeah.
recently. He won. Okay, he won the first thing, so he got to the game, which then allowed him to win a car. Then he spun the wheel and he got on 100, which means he got $1,000.
Yeah.
Then he spun the wheel again,
Oh,
and
it's
got
like
on
a
100
perfect
again.
game
It was a
of Price is
perfect
Right.
game. Yeah, it's like rolling a 300 in bowling, but on the Price is Right. And then he won everything at the end. But then you realize, like, if you take all that stuff,
Yeah.
you are going to be like in the red, very far from taxes.
Sure.
alone.
Yeah.
Take the cash value.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have left a lot of that stuff, man. Just be like, yeah, I'll take the cash,
Right.
and that,
You
I'll
know, I
leave the
have
rest,
a washer
you
and a
know?
dryer already,
Yeah.
so that's okay.
I don't need your crappy Mustang.
Oh,
Yeah.
Price is Right. It isn't the same for me anymore. I can't really watch it.
Oh
but
no, there's no Drew Carey. The Price is Right. It
it just doesn't really work that well for
I,
me.
Yeah.
I saw a brief clip of it, and it looks like he's like changing, like his character,
Like
like he
metamorphosis?
like whatever they injected
Into what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
Ask
like,
Kafka.
Like his hair is all combed, kind of like kind of bob. Like it's all like he's like just like forming into this
Like a
Yeah.
gelatin, like some sort of gelatinous
Whoa.
mass.
It was
It's-
really creepy because I hadn't seen him since like I guess Who's On Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Like time and like it's just funny looking at him now with like is this daytime now?
Yeah.
Drew like kind of parted hair and like wearing the suit and
What was
everything.
the older
Yeah.
host? What was his name? I forget.
Bob Barker?
Pimp.
Yeah.
Quite.
Pimp.
Spade or
Top
neuter.
to bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend always wanted to be one of Barker's beauties just because she just wanted to hang out with that dude. And I can kind of respect that. Though I also emphasize as much as possible that
Well,
there will be sexual harassment at some point in
Oh,
that.
he's gotten
totally.
sued for it a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's Bob Barker. I mean,
Yeah, whatever.
he's bulletproof.
Rolls off your back.
He's above the law.
Man, I can't stop thinking about classic concentration now because I watched an absolute shit ton of that
Yeah.
show as a kid. Like that was the Alex Trebek show. That was the one before Jeopardy.
Was it
Where-
before Jeopardy?
I think it was either during Jeopardy or like the early days of Jeopardy or before. But like the episodes I always watched were like super old reruns. And the thing with that show was that the thing you won was a really shitty car. Like it was always like some little hatchback 2-door,
Right.
like a new car that you don't want.
Here's your
Gremlin.
Nova, right?
Yeah, but it's just
Pinto.
early Alex Trebek, bad cars, bad '80s contestants,
Bumper Stumpers.
bumper
That was
stompers.
a good one. The Pyramid was good.
Well, Family Feud was really good. What was the Whammy show?
The whammy. Yeah.
Oh,
that
Press
was-
Your Luck. Press Your
Yeah.
Luck. Yeah, Press Your Luck was always a
like that
favorite.
show. I think I actually remember there was a big cheating scandal on Press Your
Yeah,
Luck.
a guy knew
They
the
were going to make a
sequence.
movie about it.
Yeah.
They were going to make a movie about the Press Your Luck
See,
guy.
this is how
It was,
we tie
gonna,
it
it was
back
supposed to
in.
have
Show team.
it was supposed to have Bill Murray in it.
Wow.
As playing that guy because like he figured out the mathematical patterns
Yeah.
of all the different screens they showed, and so he would never get a whammy. And then I guess like he got caught fairly early on, but it didn't matter because like he wasn't really cheating. He just had figured out the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
whammies indeed.
I kind of wish that movie had been made. That seems like it totally could have been like a
Is that your
Confessions of,
Mammoth version?
could have been like Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, sort of like this is a weird premise for a movie, but if they do it super bizarre, it could have been awesome.
Make it cheap. You need like 2
Yeah.
sets for that movie.
Tell me about the fucking whammy. What about the fucking whammy?
Well, I don't know. Well, that doesn't. I don't think that would make a very exciting movie, to be honest. It's more exciting to hear about, like, say, like
off his
that,
mic.
like
Cut
that,
off his
the group of students, like what at MIT or whatever, that had like formed their blackjack
yeah.
ring, and
Yeah.
they go and they take
that
on
movie
Vegas
was
and stuff.
terrible.
21 or
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make up blackjack movie
So
names.
it was
Sure.
like 21 or something like that, and it was based on a pretty decent
Bust.
book.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like, because
It's Kevin Spacey, right?
Yeah, it was Kevin
Yeah,
Spacey and
and then-
some dude.
dude.
Who was the girl in it? Was it
it was Kate Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth? Yeah.
But then in the book, I think the main character was like there were a couple of Asian kids, and then it became like
There was
white kid and his cool girlfriend.
yeah, there was an Asian girl in the group
'Cause they're good at
because
math.
it's MIT and
Yeah.
that's sort of what you have to do. But I think it was the girl from Rushmore, like the one that
Charlene Yee.
No, that wasn't Charlene Yee. That's someone that Charlene Yee is the Michael Cera. Like
No, she was the Asian girl from Rushmore.
No, she wasn't.
No.
I'm 900% sure it is not her.
Okay.
This girl is someone else. But anyway, yeah, it's the girl that Jason Schwartzman ended up with in Rushmore, and yeah, That movie was terrible.
Yeah, Rushmore sucked.
No, what? No, it's not the direction I was going in at all.
Oh, Rushmore's great. Soundtrack is great too.
Yeah, one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Might be a feature we start working on soon here, talking a little bit about movie soundtracks.
You know, I watched Fantastic Mr. Fox yesterday. I know you dug that movie.
I love the hell out of that movie.
It's interesting.
That would have been my number. That would have been my number 6 movie of last year.
I thought it was an interesting exercise.
Yeah.
It's charming in a way that Wes Anderson movies haven't been for the last few years.
It was touching. I thought it was also kind of slight.
It was very slight.
Yeah.
But I really liked all the stuff with Bunsen and Bean, or whatever their names were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They were great. I liked the what the cuss thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty well done. I liked the totally nonsense the nonsense animal fight scene between Mr. Fox and the badger.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, they're having this cordial conversation, and then they start like just clawing at each other like wild. Like just the little reminders of, oh, by the way, these are animals were really well done, I thought.
No, you're right. You're right. Sarah Tanaka.
There you go.
Margaret Yang. Why did I think Charlene Yee was
because you're racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out.
Disappointed in you, Rory.
That is really racist. Vinny, did you see anything this weekend other than OSS?
No, not movie-wise, but I did watch my first episodes of Arrested Development.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and man, I was in a cave or frozen in ice, but I thought that show had come out like a year or two ago.
No.
And then I'm like, who's that little kid? Wait, is that? He looks just like Michael Cera would. Is that like his kid? I'm like, no, holy crap! When did that come out?
God, was it late 90s, early 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Very early 2000s,
Jeez.
I think. Yeah.
Some young folks in it. People talk really highly of Arrested Development, really highly. And granted, I'm only a couple episodes in, but it's pretty goofy.
It is very goofy.
It is extremely goofy, and I thought it was going to be a little more serious. I'm not sure what I expected from it.
I never got through the full series run. Like, I got through the entire first season and then parts of the second season, but I kind of fell off with it a little bit.
Yeah.
I still appreciate the show quite a bit. It obviously launched a lot of good careers.
Yeah.
And,
I like everybody involved, but I never quite got it.
Yeah. That's how I felt about Undeclared.
Yeah, same thing.
And that was a Jay Baruchel thing, so I know that's obviously not as much your deal.
Well, it was more
but
the creative talent behind it. I know it was just who's that guy? That was a Judd Apatow thing, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's a Judd Apatow thing.
Oh yeah.
I also watched. I had to wrap up the Doctor Who specials from the David Tennant series. And,
I have never been a Doctor Who fan.
The new stuff is all right.
Yeah.
The kind of when they relaunched the series, basically, I guess in kind of early 2000 or whatever, mid 2000s, it came back and it's pretty strong. And it's not bad, but you have to. It's like a giant, not just a grain of salt. You need like a pillar of salt.
Right.
It's pretty. Like the budget has gotten better since the original series.
Certainly,
but
it would have to.
Like the writing's all right. Like. I really like Torchwood, and so...
See, that's the thing. I don't like Doctor Who,
but
I've actually started watching Torchwood.
And it's kind of all right.
The only problem I have with Torchwood, I'm near the end of the second season, and I know tragedy is about to strike, so I'm bracing for it, but... The end of the first season is legitimately one of the worst pieces of television I have ever seen in my life.
I don't remember what happened. Was that
That's the giant monster shows up at the end for no fucking reason.
Right. Oh, and he tries to kill dude. I can't remember. Yeah.
They come within inches of completely ruining every ounce of interesting buildup they had throughout that season with that episode. But then the second season picks up in a good place, and it's mostly been pretty good so far. So
it's like the end of the second season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, where it's a bottle show where they just use clips because they ran out of money.
That's right.
So Riker flashback show where he's trapped in his own head.
I remember that. episode. That was a bad episode of that show.
I was on the Star Trek wiki, and universally it's regarded as the worst episode of Star Trek.
It's a bad one.
Star Trek ever made. So,
I don't know. Wow. There were a couple of first. Voyager? I mean, really? Like, there's some really bad terrible. Voyager.
There's some bad ones, but just like in terms of manipulating, like it was the end of a season. Like this is the same series that had like the Borg best of both worlds at the end of one of their seasons. So they knew how to make a cliffhanger, and they just decided like, oh, we ran out of money. Riker clip show. Great.
Yeah, Riker clip show.
I was at a birthday party actually on Saturday, and there was a TARDIS as a birthday cake.
Wow, that is a big Doctor Who fan.
To do.
Yeah, I bet.
Cardboard in the middle to support it, because otherwise it'd just fall apart.
That's pretty cool.
I see why people are really into Doctor Who now. I
No,
don't know.
I get it.
Yeah, something about the writing. They serialize really well. Like
Yeah.
they go through a season pretty well, tying in lots and lots and lots of, like, almost Lost-ish, like kind of like referencing
Sure.
all these things that you're like, yeah, I'm a fan. I get this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, she was in
This
like the
speaks to me.
'60s one.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm up to the new Doctor, and gonna kick off that season as soon as it hits Netflix.
Huge forehead, just massive.
Huge. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
On
doesn't
the newest guy.
Yeah,
just
like he
huge
looks like
noggin.
he looks like a golem.
Yeah,
Like, it's just
his
he's
eyes
this-
are sunken in.
Yeah.
just big.
And it's
Big.
really hard after so long with Tennant to
Yeah,
like
that's what I said.
Because
switch.
Tennant's a handsome devil.
Yeah,
you know?
and he's personable and charming, and like you don't want him to go, and then you're like, oh, who's this new guy?
Yeah.
I hate you.
I mean, it's like if you replace Captain Jack with like some, like sea beast or something. Like it's just you want that handsome devil in that role. Like maybe a little more awkward for Doctor Who, but it's like you want someone that's kind of
yeah, like charming.
charming. And this I haven't quite gathered whether this guy actually is charming or
People
not.
seem to like him after they watch a few episodes.
That's what.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. Jack, pops into Doctor Who
Yeah.
frequently, and it's funny to see him come through. That show, because he is always in awe of the Doctor. And
Totally.
And in Torchwood, he's like the dude who's
He's
like
the ultimate badass.
everybody's in awe of him.
He's the man who can't die.
Right.
Mm.
And in Doctor Who, he's like totally confused, and Doctor Who understands why he can't die. And so it's
Yeah.
interesting to see him become this kind of like second in command, and every time he pops up. It's interesting.
They're talking about making a U.S. Torchwood. I mean, they made a
Oh,
pilot.
no.
They are making
Oh,
or
really?
made a pilot episode, but it doesn't sound like it's actually going to come to fruition.
Like
so
Kiefer Sutherland
That's
or
a
something.
good thing.
I'd heard they might actually just bring the same dude to play Captain Jack.
Oh, really? And like start a U.S.
Like it would just be the same. Like it would be an offshoot of the UK Torchwood versus like just a straight up remake.
Interesting.
But
All
I don't
right.
know if that's. I mean, I haven't read anything about it in a while. I imagine it's probably just one of those pilots that's never going to get picked up.
Sure.
It's way too weird and frankly way too gay for American audiences.
It is pretty risque.
There is a lot of gay making out on that show.
I mean,
Well, that guy-
Where can I find this?
Captain Jack is...
It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
Captain Jack will
okay.
do anything.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
omnisexual.
He
I
is.
think.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he will literally fuck anything. Like it is.
And everybody is kind of sleeping or fucking everybody else.
totally. Yeah, it
Find
is.
in the UK.
It is. That is why British television rules, because they are not willing to just ignore that stuff.
No.
They like to have fun with it with the cheeky sexuality, and I think Captain Jack is way more interesting for it.
Yep.
So
I agree. So yeah, that was it. I
Cool.
think that was my weekend.
I other than OSS, I didn't get a chance to watch anything else other than one little movie on Netflix last night, which I really would like to talk to you about, Vinny.
Sure.
The movie is Pandorum.
Yes.
It is a space horror movie.
Space in quotes.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's whatever. It is
completely a space horror
At some
movie.
point in that movie, they are in space.
No.
All right, let's just say if you don't want any Pandorum
Spoilers, don't
just
listen.
skip this part.
but we're going to talk about Pandorum in pretty grave detail.
Somebody in the comments should write the time code when we come back from talking about Pandorum. Skip to that point,
Yeah.
because that movie is great in that it delivers its twist well.
It does. It is a good twist. So here's the thing with Pandorum is that it's definitely in that sort of Event Horizon-y kind of vein where it's like very atmospheric.
Yeah.
Very like
Contained.
You are trapped in this claustrophobic space with something that wants to fucking kill you in a really awful way. And like, I mean, in a lot of ways, it basically just seemed like Dead Space, the movie, to me. Like, it had that element of like, here are these weird, fucked up monsters that are running around, eviscerating anyone alive.
That was my only I'll just say my
Yeah.
big problem with that movie was the kind of generic space like
Yeah.
the
The makeup was really
Reapers,
good on
whatever.
those things.
Yeah.
Like, they looked really cool, but at
Yeah.
the same time, like,
It's like Space Zombie.
There wasn't anything particularly special about them.
Yeah.
They might as well have just been like the ghosts of Mars.
Yeah, or the bad guys from Serenity and Firefly, the Reapers,
Yeah.
whatever they are.
Same deal.
Yeah, like that kind of like human-esque, for some reason distorted and want to like rip you apart and eat you kind of monster.
Well, they're cannibals basically.
Yeah.
Is what they set up, and so that's their entire. That's their ethos is I'm gonna eat you, I'm gonna eat them.
But
It's a much better movie when they're not around and it's the human characters kind of trying
yeah,
to figure out
and
what
that
the hell's going on.
and that's what I really did like about that movie
Ben
was
Foster's a really, really good actor in that.
So what? Yeah, he's
Solid.
good. I actually thought Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
like
He's
he's
good.
he's
He's
really good.
Who can overact like a
Yeah.
motherfucker when he wants to, but he is actually quite good in this. So the reason I watched it was because someone told me that movie had really stuck with you in like a very dark kind of way, and I'm kind of curious, what was it about it that stuck with you?
I think it was the part. A couple of things. The part I really liked was the fact that like this intergalactic, I guess you'd call it. I mean, they're doing these long missions through the universe.
It's supposed to be like a 120-something year mission.
Yeah,
or something.
And you put all these people in kind of cryostasis, and it's up to these humans to kind of make sure that all goes well.
Yeah.
And you get these dudes who just kind of freak out and go crazy and can eject you the entire mission into space. I thought it was really kind of like, fuck, we're never going to get this right. Like this is a really dark space movie. And like he launches like, I don't know if it's hundreds or thousands of cryopods because it's supposed to be the failsafe, right? It's supposed
that's the previous mission. Like it failed because like someone went crazy
and
just
like pushed the button
everyone.
and was just like, oh okay, boop,
and everyone
into
died
space while they're in cryostasis though. So while you're alive, getting ejected into space.
Well, and the messed up thing is that when during the eject sequence, they wake you up.
Yeah.
So like when you're ejecting,
why would you do that?
Well, because they want you to be able to get out of the pod when it arrives somewhere. But when you're in deep space, it's not arriving.
No.
Yeah. So that scene was pretty frightening, and I think for the rest of the movie, just kind of like the thought of, if we were ever to kind of travel on these long missions, that like, humans, you're at the mercy of humans who will just go insane and do crazy things. And have a very grim view of humanity. I think we can be pretty bad at times. We're not very stable.
I agree with you. Let me throw a couple of my problems with the movie at you, and just you tell me if you felt the same way. One, way over directed. Like, so many weird shots of, like, this person is crazy, so we're going to, like, pull back on the camera and hit the fisheye, and then we're going to make it vibrate like crazy.
The stuff was kind of overdone. It was very Gilliam, too.
It definitely was pulling into, like, the Gilliam and also, like, Alien Resurrection style, like, just, this is way over arty.
Juno, wasn't it?
That was Juno, yeah. Who made one of my favorite movies of all time in A City of Lost Children, but you know that style did not work for me in Resurrection
because it was a very abrupt change too. Like it wasn't like that until almost the very end of the movie. And
so it's very heavy-handed with the
with the direction. Not scary, like unsettling and atmospheric, creepy, but like there was not really any good scares in that movie to speak
a lot
of.
Running away.
Yeah.
Well, I think I actually like that about it. Like they didn't go overboard with the jump scares and the gross out stuff. Which I kind of liked because I don't really enjoy those movies that much.
Yeah.
I don't need to see like fingernails getting ripped
I don't think
off.
I don't think every movie needs that. I just think that like every once in a while, like I would have liked a little bit more of. Like, there's one good scene where like Ben Foster is trapped in a locker, and there's like you can see the dude crawling around like looking for him, and then his radio goes off, and he slaps the radio, and then blah, and that was good. Like it was actually built up pretty well, but then like the movie kind of abandons that altogether from that point. Yeah. So I maybe just a little more tension with those dudes versus like them just screaming and like all the weird badass like nomad people on the ship like fighting them constantly.
Yeah, that part was a little weird. I could have done without that one dude who's just kind of like. I guess you need people to die.
But are you talking about the badass guy?
I was talking about him and the girl.
Yeah,
but then the whole thing with the guy who keeps him upside down was a little bit.
That was weird, and I didn't like the sort of giant info dump, like the simultaneous info dump that was going on during with him because like his whole like. I have carved this elaborately beautiful scene of what happened to the entire ship. Like it was all like very faux biblical, but it was like not cool.
Well, it was like their big exposition moment when you're like, oh, okay. But I did actually think the twist was pretty good.
The twist was great,
and like I was like, oh man,
didn't see it at all.
It was well made. That was really well done. My last problem with it is that memory loss as a device in movies is something that is either done really well or done very hackily.
Yeah.
And I think it was done very hackily here because it was like every time they remembered something, it transitioned into this awful dialogue bit where like they would just be like, man, I can't believe you reminded me of that, and then like launch into story, and it's like, oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember how Quaid, like he comes back into.
He never leaves.
He was just insane.
Yeah, he's just
right?
in that. Yeah, he's just insane. He's in that room that whole time.
Yeah.
So he's sort of like the Andrew Ryan character for a while, like guiding him. But
by the end, he has merged with his other consciousness and is basically back
spoilers.
On track.
These.
If we're already
well into spoilers at this point, but
the whole thing is that the ship has not been in space.
Oh, that's so awesome though.
It's a really cool story. Yeah. It's been underwater because it's a colony ship. They meant to leave Earth and go.
Yeah.
They're like the last humans in the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get to another place too.
And instead of the 100 and whatever year trip it was supposed
It's
to be,
been like 900.
it's
Yeah.
like 1,000 or
So
whatever.
they've been underwater the entire time
Yeah.
at the planet they're supposed to get to because the ship just crashed there. And then at the end, they eject themselves, and none of them die from the bends, even though they're
pressurized capsules, man. What are you talking about?
They weren't that deep underwater. You could see like the part of the ship was like raised out of the water. So
That's
they
a
weren't
big
that
ship.
deep.
It
Plus-
doesn't need to be that deep for the bends, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I like to think those cryo chambers are pressurized if they have to go through space.
And let's just think about this for a second. Are we really going to dissect the science of Pandorum? Because seriously, like, there's a lot of really jacked
What's
up.
the movie where Miguel Ferrara actually has his head explode from going up too fast? Is it like Deep Star 6 or something?
I think that is Deep Star
Yeah.
6. Yeah.
I just remember that scene from my childhood. He's going up too fast.
Oh,
It's like,
Scanners.
Right, Total Recall.
Yeah.
They're on the surface of Mars. That's totally
Yeah,
different.
totally different.
I felt bad in Pandorum for the guys who were on the bottom of the ship getting ejected into dirt. Just kind of bounce. Oh,
No.
Christ.
There's the little population thing that pops up at the end and says, look,
Yeah, everybody made it.
Somehow everyone made it. Don't know, whatever.
Huzzah.
Maybe all the bottom guys were the ones that died first, you know? So that's not, maybe that's
Right, because
okay.
over the course of the 1,000 years, it's interesting. The story's interesting. I guess I won't go into too many more
It's a really good
spoilers.
story idea. I think the script could have used some work.
Yeah,
but-
and so going back to what stuck with me was this mostly the psychological stuff of like, oh man, like that's kind of an interesting way to show how horrible space travel could be, and the kind of not the alien menace, it's more of the kind of menace from within. I like those, I like those kind of like humans are just bad movies.
No,
like,
I agree, and I think that if they had maybe tweaked the monster stuff a little bit and made it a little like the psychological stuff a little less clumsy, it would have been really awesome.
I mean, this is from the guy who did Resident Evil, right? This is
it was produced by Paul W.S. Anderson,
Okay.
who also made Event Horizon. So
right. So yeah, I mean,
it's his wheelhouse. But like, yeah, the director is someone I'd never heard of. He's like a German director.
It had that vibe of a German financed film, like one of those like collaboration projects.
Well, there's a fat thing on the credits, like financed by like 6 different German like financier
GmbH.
companies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of GmbH on the
It
credits.
definitely had that feel of like people putting money into this for the good of the country or something like that.
Yeah.
Finance like a Uwe Boll style.
Yeah.
Like
I'll write it all off later on.
Was
For
Dieter
the artistry
Laser
of
in
the
it?
country, we will make Pandorum.
so I obviously if you're up to this point, you've seen it, because otherwise if you haven't, then you don't care about it. But you should check it out.
And at this time code, we will say we'll stop talking about Pandorum
That's right.
spoilers. And if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix Instant right now through the Stars Play. So that means it won't be there for very long, but you should check it out while you get a chance if you like spacey horror type dealies, which I do.
Yeah, well, which I do too, but I don't like the gross out ones. Ghost of Mars, I didn't like.
No, Ghost of Mars.
I don't
was
think anybody liked.
No, Ghost of Mars was terrible.
No, John Carpenter is one of the most bipolar directors.
Well, no,
working
it's just
around.
the last decade. Like he has not made a good movie.
It's bizarre. Yeah,
Like he has not made a good movie in a long time, and Ghost of Mars was like the prime example of that, because that movie is just a complete mess.
Who did 30 Days of Night?
I don't know. It's based on a graphic novel. I don't remember who directed it.
That wasn't Carpenter, was it?
No, it was definitely not Carpenter.
Okay, because it reminded me of Ghost of Mars.
That movie's great. Danny
You like
Houston.
that one?
Danny Houston is like the horrible. I think Mike Russell of the Portland Oregonian best described him in his review of that movie, where it was like he looks like an evil Eastern European insurance salesman, and it's he's so great as that just so over the top feral vampire character.
It was so bad.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I hated the ending, but whatever.
Yeah, the ending was pretty dumb.
There's so much good vampire on person violence in that movie that I was kind of willing to forgive it.
What I kind of think about Robin Hood. I think if you're going to make a movie with a concept as violent as feral vampires, it has to be rated R. And Robin Hood, if you're going to have a movie all about dudes getting shot by arrows, just make it
go
R.
Braveheart. Straight up, if you're going to go Braveheart, go all the way Braveheart.
Everybody in that cast is over 40. You're not going to get a big teenage audience. I think that movie would have done just as well this weekend had it been rated R.
You want to see arrows and eye sockets?
I want to see arrows going through a sniper scope.
Yes. Yes.
Berenger just getting in it, right?
I don't think they had sniper scopes in medieval time. I'm sorry,
It'd
Rory.
be cool though. I'm planting the seeds. So 30 days.
Morgan Freeman had a telescope, didn't he, in that Robin Hood? Didn't he? Wow.
Yeah, he did.
See?
Far Sight.
Yeah,
Jesus
I love
Christ.
early telescope names. The See All. Oh wow! Let me see your lens view, long
God.
distance view.
This is getting erotic. I don't know, man. Yes, I like 30 Days a Night. I'm not afraid to admit that.
It's enjoyable. Who's the main guy in that? Who's the main actor?
Oh, Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett.
I don't like him.
His star has faded considerably the last few years. He used to be like the it guy, but
was he ever really the it guy?
he was in like he had that.
He was in The Faculty.
He was at the Channing Tatum of like the mid 2000s though.
And
That's not a good place to be.
Yeah, I mean, he did that movie he did that one romantic comedy thing where it was like he gave up sex for Lent. I can't remember the name of, but
40 Days and 40 Nights.
40 Days and 40 Nights. That's what it was.
He was in a couple movies with Harrison Ford, which were both terrible. But yeah, he just kind of seemed to be the guy who was on the cover of EW every 2 weeks.
Hollywood Homicide.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ryan Davis.
Yeah, he was like
Michael
a yoga
Ironside.
instructor.
I'm leaving
and
that
a
in.
cop at the same time. Oh my god.
God, yeah, that hasn't worked since Double Impact. Anyone remember that one? The Jean-Claude Van Damme twin movie?
Yeah.
The opening scene where he's like he's the aerobics instructor and he's like wearing pink leotard and I can kick very high, and then he like raises his leg.
What happened to Van Damme?
Did you see JCVD?
JCVD,
No.
that's what
He's
happened.
did you see
man.
my news about Universal Soldier coming to 3D?
They're making a
He and
news
Dolph
one.
Yes.
Lundgren.
What?
They're making a 3D Universal Soldier.
Wait, are they going to be in the movie,
Yeah,
or like
hell
their
yeah.
likeness will be in the
Or
movie?
they'll be in it.
Do you honestly think they would say no to that project?
What the hell are they going to be, though?
They're gonna be
Universal
Universal
Soldiers?
man.
That universe has sailed, I guess.
I-
to mix some
No,
metaphors.
they made a direct-to-DVD last year and apparently did well.
As
Dude, those guys are like 90 years old. What war are they fighting? Like,
Now wait, hold on.
War against incontinence.
Hang on. Now let's be fair. The Expendables is pretty much nothing but like 90-year-old dudes.
but that's a joke about them being 90-year-old dudes because they're expendables.
They're
right?
playing it serious, I'm pretty
Stallone
sure.
kind of looks like he's treating it pretty seriously. I don't know.
this is his magnum opus.
But they
Seriously.
are the expendables, right? They're the dudes who can go out there and like, we
Well,
don't
they're
care about
mercenaries.
these guys anymore. But Universal Soldier, they were supposed to be like the epitome of the the war machine,
Dude,
right?
I was
well-
looking into the backstory of that, and they made Universal Soldier. Then they made Universal Soldier 2 and 3 with somebody else, and I think maybe a fourth one called Universal Soldiers. Then they restarted it with Jean-Claude Van Damme as Universal Soldier: The Return, with like Goldberg was the bad guy. in
Yeah,
that
he
one.
was. I remember that one.
And
That's
a
fine.
computer.
Yeah, that's fine.
That one was in theaters.
That's who you should cast. You
Goldberg's
should be
fine.
casting pro wrestlers as those guys. That is the kind of the farm for action movie people at this point.
Extensive coverage of movies starring pro wrestlers here on Screen.com coming soon.
Oh man,
I just love your indignation about all this.
It's so stupid.
It is so stupid. You're
Universal
totally right.
Soldiers should be treated with care and respect.
Well,
No, it's not about that. It's like no one should care at all about Universal Soldier anymore.
Well, there's like two reasons why it makes me mad. Like one is because obviously there are no good action stars to fill that role, which makes me upset.
Yeah.
Right? Like who are you going to cast? I don't know. I have
Sam
no idea.
Worthington. I mean, I guess. Yeah.
Or who's the dude from like all our action stars now are kind of slight. The dude from the Transporter, what's his name?
Oh, Jason Statham.
Yeah, he's like the only action star I can kind of think of that
Same
like
guy in every movie.
yeah, and he's not even big or there are no Stallones.
No, he's just gritty looking.
He's more Bruce Willis than Stallone, you know.
Yeah.
Michael Cena. There's The Rock.
You mean John Cena?
But again,
Whatever.
you're talking about
Sarah.
Michael Cera,
He
action
looks
star.
like an action star.
He would be a good Universal Soldier. But yeah, you're plucking out of the pro wrestling camp, which is totally what you should do.
I mean, MacGruber, I think, has a bunch of pro wrestlers in it, like as like his sort of. Either they're the bad guys or they're like his action team or something. But like I know I saw Chris Jericho in there.
They must all
Pretty sure
get
the Great
killed or
Khali was in
something.
there somewhere.
because they must all get killed or something. Because I saw the team shot, but then the rest of
Yeah.
the movie, apparently they're
Well,
all
I mean, the movie is much more about Will Forte and Kristen Wiig and Ryan Phillippe doing their thing. Which again, Ryan Phillippe. Let me just say that again. Ryan Phillippe is in that movie, and Val Kilmer.
Oh man,
Dino
I
Val.
like a Val Kilmer.
I'm
I
all-
like an older Val Kilmer.
I'm almost ready to look forward to that movie. I'm not quite there yet, but I like the more I see ads for it, the
dig
more
it.
I think that it actually could be funny.
I dig it. I dig the, and again, another one of those movies that could have made it very easily made it PG-13. Apparently, it's a hard R.
Good.
which I like.
Yeah.
Good.
I like it. I'm it's weird. I just like hey, fucking make it fucking R at this point.
I mean, I think I just can't see how that movie would be at all compelling at PG-13. Like, I can't see what they would do because that character is not really that compelling to begin with. So you have to filthy it up.
It's the Lorne Michaels curse of like, here we're gonna take these. Effing.
There you go. You're filtering it up right now.
I haven't watched Saturday Night Live very often over the last like 15 years. But I mean, I know they're probably trying to mine. Like I saw the Gilly skit, which is just one of the worst things least funny skits I've ever seen on TV. Like really, just deplorably, horribly awful.
The first time the Betty White episode was the first episode I've watched in about 3 seasons, and I'll say this, like, it's about what I remember. You know, there is like 2 good sketches maybe per episode, and the rest of the time it's like, well, we could do the Lawrence Welk thing again, I guess.
I was watching one because I watched some of the links that got off the Betty White one. Apparently, they have those NPR ladies who do. They did an NPR sketch, because they had Molly Shannon and a guest star on, as well as like Tina Fey and the one I saw
Amy
was
Poehler.
Alec Baldwin doing his like sweaty balls thing,
and that is the one that is the callback sketch that everyone talks about. Like if you're going to mention those characters,
and just like 5 minutes about ball jokes. I mean, is this what? I don't know.
Dude,
they did more.
I don't know what TV programming you've been watching for the last 10 years, but yes, that is
definitely SNL. One like hour and a half long ball joke with a Jay-Z performance mixed in there somewhere.
Ah, yes. Progress.
What do you want? The state? Is that you're saying? You got to class it up a bit because they were never above a ball joke.
Mr. Show at least class it up.
I want to dip my balls in it. Yeah,
that's classy ball humor.
Yeah.
If you have not gotten The State on DVD, you should go back and watch it. That shit holds up remarkably well.
How much did the music change? Because I know the hold up on the DVD release.
A fair amount of it. You can definitely tell where they changed it, but it's pretty irrelevant for the most part. Like all the sketches are there that you want, and you can totally. You can watch them at your leisure, and I have been. I've been watching all the weird Italian family sketches where they're the monkeys. The monkeys don't do it. They make a love.
Sketch comedy is really weird because some
it's
shows,
dead.
Well,
it is kind of dead.
It's dead, but YouTube could have been could still be maybe the next
Funny or Die has some good sketch comedy.
Funny or Die is all over the place in terms of
It's really weird because you can find Mr. Show clips pretty extensively on YouTube. And not that I advocate people buying the DVD, but there are other shows like Kids on the Hall stuff gets taken down fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Mad TV.
Oh, God. You're searching for Mad TV. You're already
you have officially
there are
gone
a couple
overboard.
Of good Mad TV skits.
Are there really?
Yeah,
I want to find my Keenan,
all the worst
Keenan
years
Wayne
of
show.
SNL.
Was it bad? What was that?
Oh, Keenan and Kel?
No, the Keenan Wayne show. The old
you
one.
mean what is it? Yeah,
Keenan Ivory Wayans. Yeah, in Living Color.
Yeah, there's some good stuff coming out of there.
The old Jim Carrey.
There's a few. Yeah, there's some good bits.
It's a good Randy Newman
Fire Marshal
TV
Bill
skit.
Yeah,
funny.
Bizarre. I remember those Super Bowl halftime shows they used to do, where it was like the most outrageously gay. The two flamboyantly gay guys, and I just realized that would never fly on TV right now.
See, pushing the envelope, man.
Yeah.
Sketch TV,
Dick butt kiss.
sketch comedy on TV. I think is dead, and I think Saturday Night Live. I don't know. Maybe it's its time.
No,
I'm sure everybody says this every year.
Well, hey, look what got canceled on NBC.
Law and Order.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah,
so.
NBC is kind of going through. It's rough right now. They are killing some. Well, they're killing some beloved shows and some not so beloved shows. So, news last week, right before their fall lineup is announced. It was apparently announced today, which I haven't had a chance to really look at it yet. But so Heroes is canceled, which
thank God.
Which I guess
the corpse of Heroes sighs and ascends to heaven.
Yeah, the corpse of Heroes has finally been unchained from the NBC lot wall and allowed to be buried.
Roaming the halls of NBC. Let me die.
Yeah,
release me. No, not yet. We still got another season to do.
We have Ali Larter under contract. Let's just keep this going.
I saw 2 episodes of that before I just gave up.
I watched this. That is
I watched the first
seasons.
Yeah, I watched most of the first season, missing a couple episodes here and there. The end of the first season really made me not want to watch the second season, and then I started watching the second season and went, "Yep, that was the right. I should have just not done this."
Yeah, but everybody's kind of like, what did we get? Seiler. We got Seiler.
Yeah, Seiler.
He went on to do a great Spock, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, Ali Larter's still great. You know, even when she's even when she's in Resident Evil movies, I still like her. I'll go back to House on Haunted Hill and go, yeah, that's pretty great. I didn't hate Legally Blonde as much as perhaps I should have.
I like the idea of Heroes more than like the execution. I like the fact that it was like a really cool comic reference. They use a comic font and everything.
It's X-Men the TV series basically, but it it just
just
never was
suffered,
compelling. Like,
yeah.
the characters were just never that compelling.
Too many characters.
Too many characters.
Too many powers and too much kind of like trying to write your way out of like these impossible situations.
Yeah, and it just never worked. And so now, they're not going to get to their 5th season. They're not going to get to wrap it up. It's just like
Oh, they literally
pulled the plug. Like,
Yeah.
they're not even.
So
they
the
had
Heroes
been,
movie.
They'd been entertaining doing like a 4 to 6 episode like miniseries type
Sure.
thing to just wrap up the storyline. Nope. Plug pulled. Done.
I wonder if there'll be a movie.
No, you know what they should do? They should just make a comic book. That's totally what they should do.
Crazy.
Are you kidding me?
That-
How much cheaper would it be to do that than a TV show? The core fans would.
I think
track
there is a
down.
Heroes comic book.
Jeff
could be
Zucker
wrong.
does not know what a comic book is. I'm sorry. No one at NBC has any idea what cross marketing is. I mean, though they did all those viral videos for Heroes.
No, Zucker got fired. I thought.
No. Zucker's still there.
Is he the new one?
Yeah, he's the guy who's part of the whole horrible Conan O'Brien.
Comcast thing? Oh,
The whole Conan O'Brien blow up. Like,
I could have sworn he stepped down or something like that.
no.
Okay.
Nope, he's still there. They continue to promote him. Here's the thing about Jeff Zucker. He, like, everything under his tenure, all the stuff at USA has been going really well. Like, USA has become a much better cable network since he's been there.
What do they have?
USA Up All Night.
Well, there's all the different, like, they have all the different shows, like Burn Notice, like they have
Burn
White
Notice,
Collar, like whatever the one with the witness protection.
Oh,
show.
with the cute girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, her.
So like they've done like a lot of original
She's a tough
programming
girl, yeah.
in that time, and it's gone well. So but NBC as a network failing miserably over and over again for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Like 30 Rock is the only show on NBC that I've watched since Conan O'Brien went off the air.
I mean, yeah.
I can't name a single NBC show, to be honest.
I like Community in certain episodes. Like, there are episodes of Community that are great, and there are episodes of Community that are basically unwatchable.
Me and Joel McHale just don't get along. I'm sorry. I know he's like a big
I
dude,
loved him in The
but-
Informant. I loved everyone in The Informant, frankly, but I liked him a lot.
Yeah,
in
he
that
was
movie.
good. He was good. But the soup has always seemed like one of those things that's just over the. But
Well, get ready for more Joel McHale because he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
yeah.
And then, okay, so now we have to talk about the really sad news, which is that they're canceling Law & Order.
So is that Law and Order across the board canceled?
No,
no,
it is
just,
just the original
okay.
series that has been on for 20 seasons. Was one season away from being the longest-running dramatic series in television history.
What is the longest running dramatic?
Gunsmoke. Yeah, Gunsmoke. Dick Wolf was gonna beat Gunsmoke finally.
And it's about goddamn time.
It's
You
about
know what?
goddamn time, but
Yeah.
you know what? They took it away. They took away his dream, and now so he's either going to have to try and find a place for that series on cable, which at this point I'm pretty sure TNT would just take it.
So wait, you're talking about new episodes?
New episodes of the original Law and Order, yeah.
So does that count then in your continuous?
I don't
or
know
Contiguous?
if it's under the same brand name. I assume it does, as far as television purists are
Yeah,
concerned.
because
But
other shows have gone from network to network.
and they count it.
yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
The TV guild of I imagine this little group of wizards
But-
like deciding.
They all look
the
like that
12
TV
Jew
guy
bakers.
from Beat the Geek, pretty much. It's like sideburns, pompadour, a little overweight. Yeah, but still, it's
So here's the thing with Law and Order for me. First of all, I can't say it because I'm from New York, so it just comes out like Law and Order.
Law and Order.
Law and Order.
L&O if you're a real fan.
But yeah, okay. So the L&O, is that not syndicated on every channel?
Well, no, it's syndicated on TNT, but it's like TNT runs that shit for like 6 hours
Maybe
at a
that's
time
why.
every day.
It just seems like it is. There's constantly Law and Order on.
Yeah,
it.
when they are
Yeah.
not showing episodes of Saving Grace and whatever that that show with the
The interrogator one.
what was it, like
Closer?
Kyra Sedgwick, the closer. Yeah, like when they're not showing episodes of that,
Man, TV's
is
awesome.
Law and Order. That is all the time.
I do not watch a lot of television because that's why God invented DVR.
Indeed.
But man, when you do, fucking TV, right?
Yeah,
Let's hear it for TV.
Let's hear it for television.
Hey,
once again.
TV.
People doing like, fuck, we got to think of a new show. I don't know. This guy's kind of psychic and he's profiler. Fuck yeah.
You can read my.
Here, hold on. Here is an actual show that appeared on Fox for a brief period this past season.
Cop Rock.
There was a show, I can't remember the name of it, I'll look it up at some point, but there is a show where a guy who was a cop had to consult a dude to solve crimes who looked into people's past lives.
All right.
Like, they used reincarnation as a gimmick for a cop procedural. That was an actual show
So
premise.
it's like Quantum Leap, but a cop show.
not even Quantum Leap, because I think it was just like some
Psychic Friends Network
Yeah,
meets a cop show.
it seemed, that TV will do some real dumb shit when it feels like it.
But even like stuff that I think is probably good that I just happened to catch pieces of, like Is it Numbers, the one where the guy's like a math genius?
Yeah, Numbers I liked for a season. I haven't really watched much of it since then. I don't know if it's still good or not.
I like when I boil down the premise, I'm like,
this is a pretty bad
I have to
premise.
ask my wife something like, what are you watching? Oh, this is a show I just watch Numbers. And like, what is it? Well, he's a math genius, and the police use him to solve crimes.
There's like Castle now too, where he's like a fucking.
And I love Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, Castle's fun because of Nathan Fillion. It's not because the show is great, but he's great.
That show is terrible.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, okay, in the perfect example,
Nathan Fillion has like Murder, She Wrote kind of. It's like
the perfect
really
example
bad.
of like ill-conceived crime solving is The Mentalist. Where it's like
what's
this,
that?
The Mentalist is the Simon Baker show, where it's like he's this guy who's really good at observing everything. Basically, like he was a con man, wasn't he? He's a con man, but like the best part of that show is that he works for like the CBI, which is more or less the California Bureau of Investigation. It's like the FBI for just the state of California. And the best part is that like they'll be in Los Angeles one moment and then they'll be in Marin. Like it's just like there's no perception of how this state works or how like government works. It's just, hey, we're going up to Sacramento for a while, and hey, it's where we're based, and oh, hey, now we're down in San Diego.
Right.
What? I don't know,
By
solving
just walking
crimes.
through doors.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like it's totally baffling in that regard. Like, there was a scene in Marin where there were palm trees. It's like, okay, fuck you. Sorry, fuck you, television.
So is this all in the wake of Law and Order? It's
more in the wake of CSI.
Okay.
Like Law and Order, has been around forever and whatever, but like I think like CSI is what spawned this insane number of procedurals.
Yeah, because even after The Mentalist, like the very next season, Lie to Me came on, which is like basically the same show,
more or less.
So that's where we are now. Is just in this kind of weird wake where there's cop dramas where they need this special dude to come in who's kind of plays by his own rules, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I like Monk actually.
I like Monk.
Every network has to have its genre niche. It has to have that one thing that all the other networks have, and so it's just like
We should just make
it's the same
one.
reason like there's Parenthood on NBC and there's Modern Family on ABC. It's like those. Sorry, Modern Family, much better show. Not a big fan of Parenthood as much as I love Craig T. Nelson, but it's just. Like they try to hit the same notes over and over again, and it gets a little flustering after
Coach
a while.
versus Al Bundy. Al Bundy wins.
Al Bundy wins.
I'm sorry.
We should make one where the cops have to rely on this guy who, for some reason, can dress up like a victim, and he's always the guy who'll get attacked by the murderer who's out there. We call it like the victim. Yeah,
Well, no,
and
yeah.
he's just perfect at getting attacked.
No, hold on. That's what the Human Target was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh God, really? There's one already?
No. So the Human Target is based on this comic book where there's this guy who goes around and basically like impersonates these people that are like targets of assassination.
Oh man!
But then like the show that came out of it was much more of like a really standard like shitty bodyguard type show. It's not very good.
I want
but
to see a show where the cops have to rely on the cops to solve crimes. Like,
What?
the cops
That's
themselves.
what
That was NYPD
that's actually
Blue.
that's what Southland basically is, and I think that's why that show didn't work on network television. Is because like, wait a minute, these are just cops.
All I've
They're
seen
just being cops.
All I've seen from Southland is that the hero guy from the OC is now the hero guy on a cop show. Like, he can save everybody's life.
That show's actually really not bad. It's pretty
heard
good.
good things about it.
It's good in a it's Hollywood gritty. It's not gritty, but it actually does a pretty good job of like not being a really slick, glossy cop show. If that's what you don't want.
So Fast Forward got canceled too. So nobody's real surprised.
Yeah,
It was like
whatever.
A really expensive show. I guess 24 got canceled a while.
Yeah,
back,
that
too.
was talked about a while ago. Which
So-
I mean, good. That show has been dead for a while, and it needed to happen. But man, Law and Order.
I know.
Man, Law and Order, dude.
I didn't really. I watched.
It's not even good anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I know.
matter.
It's just like,
I like Special Victims.
that show.
Oh, you like the rape Law and Order?
Yeah. Well, no, look,
Yes.
Rapey Law and Order, the thing about that show is that
emotion.
it was great for like the first like 3 or 4 seasons.
Chris
that show
Maloney's really good.
He was good. Mariska Hargitay was good. I loved the sort of weird dynamic between, Richard Belzer and Ice-T. Like that was a really good cast, and they had some really good writing for a long time. And then at some point it turned a corner into like I can actually pinpoint the moment. There was a episode where they're like, the cop office room, like the precinct, went from just being like a kind of shitty looking precinct to having all this weird high tech shit everywhere. Where like they're calling up computer screens and like here's the mugshot of this rapist guy and here's the
CSI.
pattern, and it's all like
It happens all like if you ever go back and watch the first season of House.
Yeah.
The production quality was terrible.
but it was so much better. It was so much like that show was so much funnier.
Does House solve crimes?
No, he solves
sometimes,
sort of.
occasionally, but mostly he just solves
If
like
there's a
weird
crime
medical
involved,
mysteries.
Okay.
He's like Sherlock Holmes, MD
medicine.
or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
like Law and Order, I guess I mostly watched Special Victims, and it was mostly on syndication because it's just on all the time.
It's on USA all the time.
But does every episode pretty much boil down to the DA having a problem with the way somebody's providing evidence?
A lot of them do, but
that'll never fly in the court. Get me my evidence.
Yeah, the problem. I mean, that's the thing is that like the frequent themes are the witness won't testify. We didn't get enough evidence on this guy.
The DA doesn't have the balls, man.
Yeah, it's always the DA doesn't have the balls
He's
for some reason.
concerned about his conviction rate.
Which is, I mean, and actually that show had a pretty good cast of DAs over the year. Like the blonde girl from the first couple of seasons that married Bobby Flay, which infuriated me to no end. What? And then there was like the super Irish girl, like the super pale redhead that was on for a number of years. And then I think there was another girl before the blonde girl came back recently. And I don't know, whatever.
All I know
all
about
DA's
Law and
women
Order
there.
at the end of the day is that there's way too much of that rip from a headline shit that always pissed me off. Like I always thought they were exploiting
like a Facebook murder happened.
Yeah, it's
real crimes that happen to real people, and they would take it and get ratings out of it. I always thought that was in poor taste.
Here's the thing,
literally,
Dick Wolf gets his.
No,
if he sees a thing in the newspaper, he calls in his writers after
3 weeks
doing
later,
dozens of lines of coke and is like, "Get me an episode of this." I envision Dick Wolf as this sort of totalitarian overlord who
Law and Order empire.
Yeah, who just it sits behind an oak desk all day, reading Variety, doing coke off of strippers.
You
and
go in
just,
there when he's upset with you, and he's just smoking a cigar and looks at you for 30 minutes.
He seems like the sort of dude who could actually eat your entire head if he felt like it, and I would not want to cross him.
So Matt, who do you think told him it was canceled?
I don't know.
PA who's now
the kid from 30 Rock,
someone who no longer exists as far as the government is concerned. But yeah, like the best thing about that and worst thing about that story was that like there was a quote I think in the Deadline article about like someone had talked to Dick Wolf and it was like source says he is fucking pissed. Like that was the exact quote: is he is fucking pissed. He feels betrayed. Like he wants.
Did it say why?
It's been terrible. The ratings have been bad. The ratings have been bad for a while. Like the show has not been good, frankly, in a number of years.
Castle.
I mean, ever since Sam Waterston like stopped being the regular DA and moved into like the lead DA role, like the sort of the
old advisor.
Yeah, like the role is like given to the old guy who only wants to do one scene in one set for
the sage advice.
Yeah.
You kids need to look again.
I'm sorry, that's just not what Sam Waterston is. Sam Waterston needs to be reactionary and he needs to be like championing some ridiculous cause. He needs
to sell me some stock market stuff.
He needs to sell me some Old Glory robot insurance. Is what he needs to do.
When the metal ones come for you, one of the best.
Will you be ready? Yeah, that's God. That it just feels wrong. It just feels wrong to have television without Law and Order proper.
But it's been our entire 2/3 of our entire lives.
Do you think this is the end for those cop procedurals? Then, or are we going to move on to something new?
No. I mean, they're all. This is the best part is that they had already greenlit Law and Order Los Angeles last year, and that's still going forward, and SVU is still going forward. Yeah, LNOLA.
Lola's happening?
Lola's happening.
All right.
So, there will still be Law and Order television. It just feels wrong not having that New York cop show that you have seen for like 20 damn years.
What are all those would-be up-and-coming actors in New York going to do now?
I know. It's like...
The Shield? What?
Yeah, what's Jeremy Sisto going to do now? Nothing. What's Anthony Anderson going to do? I don't know. Eat. But like, there's just nothing for them to do right now, and it sucks.
I think you can make the case that The Wire really kind of... I'm kind of glad if the cop shows kind of...
But that's kind of like more like the thinking man's kind of like less action, more kind of...
Well, that's what David Simon does. I don't know if anyone ever saw Homicide: Life on the Street,
totally.
Which actually had crossover with Law and Order for some episodes.
That's where Richard Belzer's character comes from.
But like that show is legitimately like one of my 5 favorite shows of all time.
Oh yeah, and it was amazing. It survived 7 years at the Friday night 10:00 slot.
Yeah, nobody ever watched that show.
What are you talking about? Nobody saw it. Won Peabody's every year, but then I remember the first 3 years were really good. Kind of slipped after that. So
once they started getting into like the longer term plot lines, like it got a little convoluted and bad. But
it started. The very first episode was about. What was her name? The girl who gets murdered. And I remember they
keep calling back to that throughout the entire series. Like because the one character, the Bayless character,
was obsessed
is still obsessed with that case 6 seasons in, and it's like it's
they did some stupid the serial killer who was set up the website and stuff like that. It got really stupid.
It got goofy, but at the same time, like for the early years, That
first
was an
3 years.
amazing
Who
show.
did they have on that? They had
Andre Braugher.
Andre Braugher is amazing, still amazing.
Early on, it was Daniel Baldwin was on it for an early
who
going.
am I thinking of? The guy from Superman, the guy who played Lex Luthor's sidekick. Who?
Oh, from the movies?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Myself.
Yaphet Kotto was
Yeah.
like the lead, the lead lieutenant.
Melissa Leo went on to do.
Was it Leo? She went to do some really good stuff. The guy
Clark Davis.
Yeah,
the director of SWAT.
Yeah, the director of SWAT was an actor on that show, and he also went on to direct some episodes of The Wire.
Yeah.
There were a number of people from The Wire that just ended up on that show, or that were on that show originally.
Just a lot of really, really amazing character actors. Nobody was like a big star, but it was just like a collection of like the best like ringer cast of character actors. So.
Incidentally, I'm only 1 season into The Wire at this point. I've just started watching it like in the last couple months, so no spoilers, please. But the first season is incredible. Like
it gets better every season, I think, and every season is.
And there was like a weird 2-year break or something between like seasons 3 and 4, right? Like they took a time off and then like came back and started doing it again. I heard like season 5 is not the best, but
I liked it. It gets a little far fetched.
So as somebody who has a very kind of loose relationship with TV,
you're loose, huh?
The West Wing and The Wire, similar? Not at all.
No.
Okay.
The West Wing is
West Wing's
what's
politics.
that guy's name? Who did those shows?
Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin. I had a friend recommend me the sports show he did. I forget what his name.
Oh yeah, Sports Night. So I love Sports Night.
I liked it. The laugh track was one of the worst ideas ever put into that show.
I thought they got rid of that,
I think
but
maybe they took it out after a few episodes.
Yeah, because it was really out of place.
It was terrible. And that one guy with the glasses who was on West Wing 2, the annoying sidekick guy, killed me.
So is West Wing a comedy?
Dramedy.
I mean, West Wing is basically like David Mamet for people who can't deal with swearing. Like it's just like that sort of rat-a-tat dialogue, but without like any of the cursiness.
Okay.
And that's also where like Allison Janney basically came from. You know, she'd been done some character work before, but that was like kind of what she hit big with. And
are there any other like DC kind of political style?
There was
like
what was the
Pennsylvania Avenue or something?
Not really.
The HBO one that they did a few years back with Soderbergh did one with produced one at least. It was like 9th Avenue or K Street or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I don't remember that
one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that didn't last, did it? No.
But it was really weird because I had like real lobbyists and real politicians come on as themselves.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
That's weird. Was Abramoff on there?
I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah, Soderbergh and Jason Reitman, they love their bringing in real people to do the things that they're trying to portray. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having me, man.
Great to have you, Vinny.
Site is awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Give me a task. What should I go do?
You should go into the Pandorum page.
Okay.
And you should fill out as much plot and maybe even some trivia info as you can find.
Great. Some quotes, no spoilers though, right?
Quotes and no spoilers if you can. I think
it's a tough one.
It is what it is, but we're a wiki site. There's going to be spoilers. It just happens.
If you remember any good lines from Lost in Rio as well, because I remember parts of that movie. I remember a lot of it, but I don't
just
remember
feel bad writing them down.
Yeah. Rory Lopez, as always, a pleasure having you guys.
Thank you.
Next week, we will be taking your emails. I will be posting an email address in the forums this week for people to start writing in their questions, and we will be happy to answer them if we can. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.